Today, once again, very good evening to everyone. And today's topic is related to qualitative research. And in this topic, the subtopic or the main topic is we will be working on uh, one model which is very much useful when you go for qualitative research. So nowadays, people are writing a research paper based on mixed method. So when you talk about mixed method or mixed methodology of writing research, it means you are adding some qualitative uh, things, qualitative analysis, and then you are adding some quantitative analysis, or you are verifying uh, between them qualitative versus quantitative, and then so that to make your result robust and acceptable. So this is not new methodology. It is a little old, more than 12 years old. In the first decade of 2000, then they the basically this today's model, which what we are going to discuss today, is based on Professor Sushil's, who has been a professor at IIT Delhi, who has propagated this model, the TISM model. Basically, TISM model is based on, again, ISM model that I'm going to explain you. But my basic focus is will be on uh, developing a paper based on TISM. But for TISM, for understanding TISM, we'll be sure, of course, we'll just little bit. I'll be giving you the little bit knowledge about ISM also. So I'll just uh, share my PPTs and then we'll start. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen, and then I think, okay, so are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and my voice is also clear. I mean, no doubt, of course. So we'll be starting with some basic things, and then we'll try to develop a paper, or we'll try to discuss the paper basically, rather to give the methodology, because methodology we'll be discussing together with the paper itself. So, so basically, TISM is a technique of qualitative research, and it is actually based on some dimensions or some variables which either supporting some phenomena or in against of some phenomena. So for example, you're talking about adoption of technology. So there may be some barriers of technology adoption. So one way, I mean, all the variables or all the items or all the dimensions which are considered as a barrier to technology adoption. So we'll get some variables and then we'll work on that one. Now, so another aspect of TISM is it works on the variables either which is supporting or it is against. So barrier means against, and supporting means there may be some, for example, we are talking about technology adoption. So same thing. So if technology adoption, so there may be some supporting variables or supporting dimensions towards, or we can say enablers, some enablers towards the particular phenomena. So in this way, we go in developing a TISA model. So, so with this premises, we'll start this. And so first of all, the basic thing is we have to find out some variables related to some phenomena, and then we'll apply to uh, model on that. So I'll just share one paper and then I'll open my slides and then slowly we'll go. Okay, so okay, so this I think you must be able to read this. Analyzing the interactions among delay factors in construction projects. So in construction projects, so likewise, I was telling you, for example, in any construction project, something which are barriers. So you can say it's as a delay factors. So we are finding some delay factors. And on those factors, we are applying TISM. What is TISM? I'll be telling you. First, you understand this. On which factors or which variables it is working. So delay factor means it comes under barriers. It comes under barriers. Then, or sometimes some supporting factors related to construction. So here in this paper, what paper I am going to discuss, they are talking about some delay factors in construction projects. And then when we get the delay factors, so then we use this methodology. But before that, getting those factors is one of the important things which you get from the literature, or sometimes with the expert opinion or expert interview. Now the thing is, when we apply TISM modeling, then so first thing is we have to get some factors. So or some variables related to the phenomena. So for example, I have just opened one virtual influencer uh, uh, marketing. One Suppose, for example, we have a virtual influencer marketing. So we have some factors which are actually supporting, which I got from the literature. So these are the factors which we get from the literature related to the success of virtual influencer marketing. So it will comes either in, so I told you there are two things, either it is barrier. So either it is barrier, I'll just select one pen and then. Okay, so, or it will come. Wait. Okay, so it's not coming. I wanted to use my pen for that. So this is supporting factors related to this. So for example, this is for first item, which is related to the degree of which VIs are designed to resemble the human beings. Then there are these following factors we are getting from the. So first thing you have to do, you have to find out in your paper or in your topic something which is supporting or group of things which are opposed, or maybe enablers or maybe barriers. So that you have to find out. So for example, here we find out some these kind of things: social cues, endorsement, project fit, scandal risk. What are the, so maybe suppose we have find all the factors, around 32 factors or 30 factors which are related to, which improves the performance of virtual influencers, right? For example, disclosure. So if you give disclosing in your virtual influencer marketing, it will improve the people perception towards this. So either, I told you two things. In TISM, we work on the variables. What we do, I'm going to tell you with the variables. But first, it is important is we have to find out some either that side enablers or barriers. So we have to find out some factors related to that. So maybe so for example, I have just taken one example: brand attitude, language type, brand trust. So maybe some are not perfect. It is not a perfect thing. It is not published. I just wanted to show you something. So for example, this interaction, if the parasocial interaction is high, it means it leads to the good result of virtual influencer marketing. So that is these all factors. Now the thing is, we cannot apply TISM on these 32 factors. So we have to reduce the factors. Okay, so before there are many methodology to reduce the factor. One is very much famous methodology. We call it EFA. So again, you have to apply some exploratory factor analysis, some questions, and you have to create some questionnaire. Based on questionnaire, you can eliminate useless things. That is one way. And the second thing is you have to eliminate, for elimination, another method is qualitative method. We call it Delphi method. So we can apply Delphi method. Delphi method is, suppose virtual influencer phenomena, we have some expert in that field, or maybe I'll share one paper, extra paper also, in which some, organizational change. So why do organizational change? So there are some supporting factors on that. So if you want to diminish the number of factors, what you have to do, one, in this case, what you have to do, you have to apply Delphi method if you don't want to go for quantitative method. So you have to go for Delphi method. Delphi method is a qualitative method in which we uh, create a group of experts and we ask the questions with them about their ranking, or about the ranking of the factors, or about the their preference one over another to the about the factors and all. So we give this. Delphi method is a different methodology. We used to do it in this way, and so what is our aim? Our aim is to reduce the factors. Okay, so when we reduce the factors, so it will come to 11, 12, something like that. It's a basic ideal number. When you have to reduce it around 10 or 9, 7, or you can make it 11, 12 also. But the more you take, the more issue will come with that. That I'll tell you. So suppose these factors, all 32 factors which are related to positive, which are supporting to virtual influencer marketing. Now you have reduced also with the help of Delphi method. So Delphi method, I told you, there's a group of 5, 6 people. They will be, helping you to reduce as an expert. So like that, you have reduced. Now you have 12 factors with you. So now we can start few more things about how. So no, we have got 10 factors, and now with the 10 factors, we want to find out the interrelation among the 10 factors, the hierarchy among the 10 factors, and their impact on, for example, here, impact on virtual influencer marketing. So how it is going to impact, to what level they are impacting, what is the leveling of this, which factor is the most important factor, which is the least important factors. That's all we do here in TISM modeling techniques. So there is a technique for that. So this is the basic premises where I wanted to start. Now I just open this paper, and before paper, I will show you something here. Yeah. So I told you that, so before going to total interpretive structural modeling, we have to know little about ISM. ISM is an old technique, which is actually, so we will be talking about little bit about ISM, then what is the need of interpretation of interpretive structural modeling. Then we quickly switch over to TISM process, because this is the main topic of the day. What is TISM process? So TISM it's a total interpretive structural modeling. So the basis of TISM is ISM. Okay, so our presentation will be like that only. Now, if you see it in that way, so what is interpretive structural modeling? Just for your information, it is a process that transforms unclear and poorly articulated mental models of systems into visible, well-defined models useful for many purposes. Okay, so it means we have 10 factors, maybe barrier or maybe enablers to particular phenomena, but we don't know how much and how the way they are interpreting or they are related to the particular phenomena. So that's what ISM is actually explaining. Now, ISM is basically ISM is a computer assisted interactive learning process where structural models are produced and studied. So there's a software also used for that. That is what we call smart ISM software, in which you just put some values. They'll try to give the things, but actually generally in more than 50% cases, it generally doesn't give the right path or right diagram because of the lack of the proper data. So we get the data from the questionnaires. That questionnaire is sometimes we don't get the pure data. So if we don't get the pure data, so there will be problem with the computer assisted interactive software, and then it will not produce the model. So that's why total interpretive structure modeling provides you or give you the opportunity to do it manually. So that's why, and because that software is many a time it does not come to a proper result. So that's why that TISM has more kind of liberty or developed model of ISM, in which we have more clarity about the complex issues or about the factors related to the complex issues or system or field of the study that is carefully designed. So if you want to understand the pattern of all these things, so we have to go to TISM, that is Total Interpretive Structure Modeling. Now, again, see, as I told you that there is a complex system. So how can you simplify it? That is the strength of ISM. Then also interpretation of embedded objects and all these things are there. Then what is the limitation? Limitation is, see, we have very few knowledgeable person. Suppose you are going to get your questionnaire completed or filled by some people, you will not get many people who are knowing about virtual influencer marketing or virtual influencers. Many people may not be considered as expert. So where to get this expert who are having the proper information? So that is the main limitation of that. And if you take the data from them, then it will be difficult to when you put the values on the software, will not give you the value. So that's why we go to the TISM model. There's a new technique. It gives you liberty and assessment techniques which are more approachable and easy. So that's why we go for that. So then um, yeah, so we'll go this. What is total interpretive structure modeling? This is the next stage, or this is the topic of the day also. So the interpretive matrix can be directly applied in the case of the structural modeling to interpret directly an indirect binary or fuzzy relation. So I'll explain it later when we when you talk about the paper. So what happened? There is a graphical model we produce in TISM. There is a graphical model we produce, and this model is actually explaining the interpretation of the relationship among the two variables, one, and this is done through the comparative of the pair. So for example, there are 10 factors. So we factor number one, whether uh, um, factor number one is influencing factor two or not, or impacting factor two or not. So if it is, so suppose factor one is here, we can use my, I just wanted to see the pen. Where is this? Not which. Okay, I just. Okay. Fine. So, okay. So I was talking about the relationship among this. So I'll give you one paper examples that will be better, I think. So, okay. So this is this paper I just wanted to show, and then we'll be proceed. So this paper is now, for example, you see this paper is telling about organizational change. So there are some factors they come up with this. So what are the factors? Their factors are, let's see, these factors. One is, so what is the supporting factor for organizational change? Globalization, new opportunities, competition, changing customer needs, new technology, e-business, and merger and acquisitions, government policies and legislation, environmental concerns, and global standard. So all these are, the elements which are supporting organizational change. So we got it, this supporting factors. Now we are going to apply the TISM modeling in that. So for what we have to do? So first, in the first stage, we decrease the number of 35 variables into these 10. For example, you understand like this. So 10, now there are 10 variables. Okay. So among 10, again, we have to go to some experts, maybe 12 or 15. This time number of experts you have to increase, because you will be asking that one, what is the what you are going to develop? There is an interrelationship among all the variables. Okay. So that interrelationship will come here. I'll show you. This is, so this is a methodology. I am going to explain all the methodology. This kind of interrelationship will come. That is a, you can say, a result of TISM. This is a TISM modeling. This type of result will come. So it means C1 is impacting C4, and also C4 is impacting C1. So what is C1 and C4? So this is the model we have. It is a result of TISM. We are slowly, it will take some time, 10 to 20 minutes to create a premises for this methodology. So this is the, model which is, result of TISM technique. So this is at one stage, this model is telling that C1 is impacting C4, as well as C4 is also impacting C1. So all these factors, C1 means globalization. You remember, C1 means globalization. So just I'll just check here. So when you go to the experts with some questions, and you will be, there, what happened? What is the result? That C1 is, what was that? C4. So maybe globalization is impacting, see, if it is C4, changing customer needs. And also the result shows that changing customer needs impacting globalization, or help to improve globalization. So your question will be, A will influence or enhance for organizational change as compared to B. So for example, A means factor 1, B means factor 2. So I'm asking you, globalization impacting new opportunities? If you say yes, so you have to give me the reason for that. So I'm asking again with the globalization itself. If the globalization is impacting competition, if you say no, there is no explanation. If you say yes, you have to give the explanation for that. So see, and then what is the explanation? If you can see this, what is the conceptual relation? You have to say yes or no here. And then how, in what way you think that the fourth one or factor 1 or C1 is impacting C2? How? What is the use for that? So for example, here, when we get this all values with this interpretation, and we prepare a small questionnaire, and with this, and we go to the our minimum 15 experts. We have to go to the experts, and we are asking questions about, only because it is a pair wise. So pair wise means you are going there and you are creating this. Uh, so uh, Option of pen. Okay. So, okay. So the questionnaire we create for this level. For example, I'm talking about C1 is impacting to C2. Here it is C1. C1 is impact to 2. If your answer is, I'm going to respondent, okay, with the questionnaire. See this, we are, for the questionnaire preparation, we will just write these are the factors for organization change forces. We are trying to find out the interrelation and the hierarchy of the factors, and we try to define all these things, how it is impacting to each other, what is the interrelations. So for that, for example, you are asking, okay, so C1 to C2, C1 is influencing C2. So if it is no, then no explanation. No explanation. If it is yes, if any respondent will tell yes, then why? So this why is actually is this one. This is known as interpretation. So why C1 is influencing C2? Is there any so you have to answer for that. So you have to create one sheet, one A3 size sheet, where all the questions and will be answering. So this will be like that, something like this. Okay, so something, for example, here. So C1 is impacting C2. So if you say yes, so for example, it is a paired comparison of change forces. So globalization, so it is C1, C2, but what is C1? C1 is globalization. You can see in the factors we have selected, C1 is globalization. Okay, C1 is here, globalization, right? And what is C2? C2 is new opportunities. C2 is new opportunities. Can you see it? So C1 to C2. So we are telling about what is the, according to you, do you think that C1 is influencing C2? So you can explain here in the next stage, in the next column, we can write down globalization will influence or enhance. You can use one word, no issue. You can use one word. I'm talking about the preparation of the questionnaire for that. So finally, so this interpretation you can give. Okay. And then they will say yes. If yes, you ask, then in what way a change force will influence, enhance, or any other change force? So these are the change forces, C1, C2, C3, C4. So because out of, I shown you 35 factors, you have converted to 10 factors. Now, out of 10 factors, you want to understand how it is influencing the phenomena. Then, so you have to go to the expert. Mind it, you have to go to expert of that particular field. So then you ask the questions like this. So what is the pair comparison between C1 to C2?
Can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, how we have chosen these elements, sir? C1 to C10, whatever it is
That's
there.
what I'm telling you. C1, C2, you understand or not? C1,
Yes,
C2.
sir, I understood.
So
That C1
this
to
is,
C10, who has actually identified this?
so C1, all these things comes from the literature, which I've shown you. For example, I show you these 25, 35, 32, something
Yes, sir.
related to factors related to that. So you
Yes,
have
sir.
to reduce this factor again based on some Delphi method.
That's fair, sir. That's fair. Where is the
It is from
opportunity
the
for the?
literature. It is
Huh?
from the literature.
It is
Literature.
from the literature. Now,
Yes.
where actually these people will come? These experts will come into picture.
Here to reduce, that's why I'm telling you, if it is totally qualitative you want to do, it
Okay.
means to reduction of these factors, 35 factors into 10. Again, you have to go for a Delphi method.
Okay.
Delphi method, you can again after, so that is only five experts is sufficient for that.
You mean to say
Again,
these we have to identify in any project. We have to identify these elements first.
yes, that's what.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay. Okay.
And it is actually supported by the, you see it supported by this literature.
survey. Yeah.
Then again, with the help of Delphi method, you can reduce the number of things, and then only if you reduce the number of, then only we can go with this. So it is reduced. Now you can see it is reduced.
Now it has been reduced now. Now the interpretation part, that who will do that?
So that's why I'm telling you, you as a researcher, you have to prepare a questionnaire. Now I'll tell you how to, now I'll show you one sample. For example, you see the number of question will be the number of factors into n minus 1. Suppose, for example, you have a factor number of 10. So 10 into, so I think it is 99 factor will come here. It is 10. So how many question will come? That's what I'm telling you. It is what is the number of factors here or forces here? It's 10.
10.
So the question will be, so it will be C1. So for C1, I'm asking C1, then C1 to C2, C2 to something like that, C1 to C8, like this, all the questions I'm asking. And then it will be totally how much we can see it. It is almost, I think, 99 something. No, 90. So it is 90. It means the formula is total question you have to prepare 90 here. It is not, you'll be asking among every relationship, those you already asked. So I'll give you one example. Don't worry. Just give me some time. So this is, okay. So I'll just show you. So it means what is the formula? The formula is you have to prepare, suppose you have 10 factors. So 10 factors, so n is 10. So 10 into 10 minus 1. So you have 10 into 9. So 90 questions you have to prepare. 90 questions you have to prepare. And the question is something like that. You will ask that C1 impacting C2. If you give, so what is your, if yes or no, your question is yes or no. So if you say yes, you will provide 1 marks. If somebody, next respondent 1, now respondent 2, for example, you are going to 15 people. And remember, these 15 people must be expert in that field. So respondent 2, it is saying no, you will give 0. Respondent 3, it will give 1. Matlab, they are telling that, okay, C1 is influencing C2. Once C1 is, have a relationship by, or you can say influences or impacting C2. So like that, you will ask 1, 0. Then somebody is telling, okay, yes, respondent 4, it is 1. Respondent 5, 1. Respondent 6 or 0. So for example, respondent 15, you have finished. Now, finally, when you summarize that C1 and C2, when you summarize on the basis of that, you have to create one clarity. Mostly we follow that if more than 50% is telling 1, means they agree that there is a relation. There is a relation. And also, so for this is actually for summarizing the result. But you will create questionnaire for each person. I mean, separately. I mean, you have to distribute a separate questionnaire. So for example, questionnaire will be consisting C1 is impacting C2. So like that, you have to define what is C1, what is C2. And it doesn't mean, it means globalization have impact on what is the second one? New opportunities. So globalization must have impact on new opportunity. What is your opinion? So you write it as a, so you write it yes. So if it is yes, you will write somewhere. If your answer is yes, give 1 marks. If it is yes, you can write yes also, or 1 marks also, like this, no issue. If it is 1, then if it is yes, then you have to explain why. So that is interpretation. So this relation is coming from here. That's why people's opinion in this TISM is very important, because we are going to create a hierarchical model which shows the interrelationship among all these things, and their hierarchy as far as their influence on the organizational change. Here what is the topic? Organizational change forces. So these are which forces are the most important, which are less important, all this, and then what is the model. For example, you might have seen that there is the model comes that they are saying that there is a both relationship, kind of that relationship, that C1 is influencing C4 and C4 is also influencing C1. So that kind of interrelation. So that is what you call interrelation. These dotted lines are telling that it is an indirect relation. Indirect relation means we call it transitive relationship. This is known as transitive. So transitive relation. One is direct. This is direct relation. So through TISM model, we'll find out where our direct relationship, in which variable we have transitive relationship. So suppose, for example, I'm telling you, suppose, for example, A factor is influencing B and B is influencing C. Got it? A is influencing B, B is influencing C. It means A is indirectly influencing C. This is the basic concept we'll use here. And for this, what is the reason? It is directly given. But you have to take the support also. When you do some interpretation analysis, you have to get some kind of support from the literature. If it is not in the literature, then also it should be logically correct. So then if A is coming to C by impacting, can you get some logical reason there? That we will talk about this. So this is then we are going to D. So sometimes this is also impacting. Sorry, this is indirectly impacting, because if B is impacting C, C is impacting D, so A is indirectly impacting C. So what is the direct relationship? That kind of relationship we try to understand with the help of questionnaire, and then we create a model on that. This is the basic premises for that. Okay, let's go a little deeper, then we'll see this. So for example, so I was on the questionnaire actually. So on the questionnaire, what you have to do, we have to create a sheet. In this sheet, for every pair, it is a kind of paired comparison. You are doing pair comparison, means you have 10 factors. Factor number one, C1, here we call C1, C2, C3, something like that. So as compared to, you create some questionnaire. I told you, I just show the methodology also here. So finally, C1 to C2, it should be 1 or it should be yes. If it is more than 50% of people are telling that, okay, they think that there is a relationship impacting, and they are telling the reason also. So finally, you will in the next, what is the next one? This is the, so we the first thing is reachability matrix, and before that, basic matrix we have to prepare. So we have to write here 1. So C1 is impacting C1. C1 is, achha, now one more thing. See, this way, this is the table. The first table we create is this table. So I think let me go to the paper which I am referring, so that every process will be very clearly. What is the first stage? What is the second thing? It will be more clear. Okay. So just give me this thing, and we'll go there. And where are we? Okay, so just see it. This is the thing we have to do. So this is the paper where we have got delay factors in the construction projects, and then we try to apply TISM model. I think few basic things I try to provide you before we go for the final, development of the model. So this methodology is, I think, I can share this paper. You can just read it. Basically, my way of, I wanted you to come to this page. So what is this page? They are talking about, first you have to find out the delay factors in construction projects. Then you have to identify the delay factors based on literature review. And I told you expert opinion also. So at this stage, if you have less literature review, you can add some variable or some values, or in this case, delay factors related to some delay factors in construction, and you can get some variables, some delay factors from the expert opinion also at this level also. But basically, and what happened, then what is the next thing? You have to define pair-wise conceptual relationship between delay factors. So C1, pair-wise conceptual relation means what is C1 is influencing C2. So if C1 is influencing, what is C1? C1 is in this case, poor proper project management plan. So you defining, so this is you are defining C1, and then you want to understand that poor proper project management plan will have impact on or influences the lack of knowledge, or C2 is influencing C1. That you have to find out. That we will do it in this paper, that is done. So the lack of knowledge or newer construction methodology. So poor proper management plan leads to lack of knowledge of newer construction or newer construction methodology. So that is the first question you have to prepare. And then, so what you have to tell, this is actually the process, development of reachability matrix. It is the next one. After when you develop the pair-wise construction relationship between delay factors. So then we have level partitioning. We'll do one by one. Development of diagram. It's the third stage, which is important. So importance will come from here, actually, from there.
Sir, one small clarification I want, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you told about the elements. Now you told, and expert's opinion is also equally important. Can I take this C1 to C10 from a secondary data?
See, TISM is actually provide you the opportunity. That's why I'm telling you it's a flexible things. Sometimes in somewhere, some people are using it and they are getting published. Sometimes in some phenomena, if it is very obvious and you get some support from literature, you can use that literature.
Okay.
We can use this literature, no issue. So because
and
this
I'm talking about the secondary data as such.
So it means it is literature, na?
Okay. Yeah.
So secondary data means literature.
Okay.
So but it should be there should be,
as you said about this is a mixed method, na? Huh?
No, this is not mixed method. I told that this is mixed method means qualitative and quantitative.
That's what I'm saying. That qualitative and quantitative. When we are taking the secondary data, that is a quantitative one.
No. Secondary data means secondary data means I'm asking about the literature.
Okay.
It is not the data. It is the published literature. So secondary data यहाँ पे use नहीं होगा. You have to use literature support, because this is where you cannot get all this. So for example, these are the phenomena you want to find out what is the influencing this. So data support is not possible here. Okay. So now these are the steps. I'm just explaining every steps and then we'll come to this. So sometimes and then there is a so development of diagram, which is the last process of this, and development of the interaction matrix or interpretive matrix, which will define the which is actually nothing but the analysis, or you can say the answers which is given by the respondents, and then you in a beautiful way you do it so that it is having good representation. Now, and then there is another analysis also. There is we call MICMAC analysis. It is again, I'll also explain this also, how to do MICMAC analysis also. So anyway, so first is you are defining your delay factors. For example, we are talking about this particular paper. So these are factors, and these factors sometimes, now here it is supported by data, which is published paper. These are the published paper. They are taking the help. As I told you, here also okay. So here also published paper data and explanation. So that kind of basic things you have to do. So that is the first stage. You are defining your variables. You are defining your enablers or factors. Now, after that, this is definition, and then you have floated the questions, and your question was like this. that C1 here, C2. So you have to find out C1 influencing C2 or not. So if it is, so ultimately, finally, I told you that if you have asked 14 people or 15 people, do 50% say the people who are more than 50%, they are telling that yes, it is impacting. So your answer will be you summarize your all the things of question number 1, that is 1. So like this, so it will be something like, so this, how to represent this, you can write here C1, C2, C3, C4 like this, C10. And there also you write C1, C2, C3, C4, something like this, C10. And then you start. So C1 to C1, C1 to C1 is always 1. C2 to C2, always 1. C3 to C3, always 1. Okay, because they are the same thing. So that's why we don't consider it. So we write it 1. Now, what is my question was, first question was C1 is influencing C2. So if it is yes, you will write 1. If it is no, you'll write 0. So for example, you have asked that C1 is influencing C3 or C1 enhances C3. This question was there. And more than 50% people have told that no. So you'll write 0 here. So this is what we are doing it. Actually, we are creating this initial reachability matrix. What we are doing here now. So what is the first stage? We have to create initial reachable matrix, which is actually based on the questionnaire which was filled by the respondents. So we are summarizing the questionnaire, in fact. So C1 influencing C1. So it is 1. C2 influencing C2, it is 1. But C1 influencing C2 or C1 is leading to C2, 0. There is no. But the C1 is not leading to C2. And there is a logic also. You can see here. You can see here. C1. What is C1? Poor proper project management plan. So the question is, poor proper project management plan leads to lack of newer construction methodologies? No. So it means, and then, so people have, more than 50 people might have told no. So that's why it is here 0. So like this we create this table. So 0. So for example, so based on our questionnaire, I show you this place that 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 0 like this. So for example, here my question is C1 is influencing C3 1. It means yes. So it is 0 1 like this. So is there any question on this basis, on this or initial? So first stage is to create table 2, which is initial reachability matrix, which is again based on the questionnaire. Till then, is there any confusion? This is based just a summary of the questionnaire. Right. Now, what you have to do? You have to find out the second one. What is the first one? First one is the initial reachability matrix. The second stage is, or you can say third stage is, so first stage was to finding the factors, okay, with the literature or with the expert opinion. Then second stage was preparation of the questionnaire based on 1 to 1. So C1 to C2, C1 to C3, C1 to C4, C1 to C5. So like that. Then C1 to C8. Now C2 to C1, C2 to C3, C2 to C4, C2 to C5, like C8. Now C3 to C3 to C1, C3 to C2, C3 to C3, C3 to C4, like this you are filling this. So first one is done. Now this is done. So this is just a answer of the questions which you have asked. You have summarized all this. So this is known as the initial reachability matrix. Now we have to prepare reachability matrix with transitivity. I told you what is transitivity. Transitivity is a kind of thing where we find out, so A is impacting B, for example. A is not impacting C. You understand these things. But if you have a relationship that A is impacting B and B is impacting C, it means we have a transitive relation between A and C. So there is a direct influence between, I mean, A is directly influencing B, B is directly influencing C, but also with this phenomena, there is a indirect relationship between A is indirectly influencing C. Vice versa can also be true. So this dotted line is known as transitive relationship, and this transitive relationship is actually shown by this one star. Can you see one star few places? One star. Now I'll tell you how to get it. Because earlier in the reachable matrix, initial reachable matrix, can you see here 0? This 0 and all, see this? So 1 and 1, C6, it is 0, it is 7. Now I'll tell you how to do it actually. This is very important. I'll give you one example. So for example, C1 is impacting whom? You tell me. C1 is impacting to C1. So forget about this. So I'll just give you. C1 is, so to find out the transitive relation between two variables or two phenomena which is supporting to this particular delay factors. So what are, these all are delay factors. So how delay factors are interrelated, that is the result of TISM model. Now, this C1, what is C1? C1 was, you should remember what is C1. So C1 was actually, what is C1? Poor proper project management plan. So like this, we have prepared this, our matrix, where that is known as initial reachability matrix. Now we are going to this, where transitive relationship. Now we can find out. So for example, we have C1 is impacting C1 is impacting not in so here we can see here C1 is not having any relation, so we cannot check it. We'll see what is the C2 is relation with C1 is there. So C2 is impacting C1 is there. See, but we are not, I'm just telling you how to create transitivity, how to check the transitivity. Transitivity, as I tell you that if A is impacting B, B is somehow impacting C, the relationship will be transitive. So here we find out earlier it was zero relation. There was no relation with C1 with C6. So now we can see here, now here we can just go up, little up, and then we can check. So we'll check from here. So C1 is having no relation with no. So we'll check. No, we'll start by C1. Where is 1? All 1 places. So we have
C5, sir, we can take C5 because it's not establishing relationship with C1. But C1 is doing with C5.
okay, send C5 here 0. Okay, so no. We'll start by row wise only. Otherwise, this will be confusing. So I'm telling you, we'll start one either row or column. So we'll start by 1. So I'm just giving you one example so that you will understand. So C1 to C1, there is no need of understanding it because there is no direct. It is a direct relationship. Now C1 is impacting C3. Okay, C1 is impacting C2. No. So we don't need to do anything. Now C1 is impacting C3, right? Now let us go to C1. Now, sorry, C1 is impacting C3. So we'll go to C3 first. So where is C3? Here. Here is C3. Now C3 is impacting whom?
No.
No. C3 is impacting C5 now. See this?
But not C1, right?
But that I am not considering because C1 is having direct relation with C1. See, C1 to C1, C1 to C1 we don't understand. You understand now? C1 to C1 we don't consider it. So now we'll start from here. C1 is impacting C3, right? Now C3 is impacting C5, but we have a direct relationship here already there. So we don't need to understand, don't need to worry about that. So it means now C3 is done. Now we'll go to C1 is impacting C5. We'll go to C5. Please listen very carefully. Now C1 to C1, no need to see. Where there is a 0, no need to see. Where there is a relationship, then we will start. So C1 is impacting C3 and C3 we will check C3 is impacting C3 and C3 is impacting C5. But
C7.
no, C3 is not impacting C7. I am talking about C3. This is C3, na? C3 is not impacting
Sir,
C7.
can you repeat this portion once again?
So see what I'm going to tell you. This is the initial reachability matrix. How to prepare it, you know this. Now we are trying to shift to reachability matrix, which transitivity. Transitivity means that kind of relation where I have explained this one. So is there any indirect relationship among the variables that we are going to find out with this, with the help of this, we are going to create this one. Okay. So we'll start by this one. C1 is impacting C1, no use. C1 is not impacting C2, no use. C1 is impacting C3, then we'll catch C3 and we'll go to C3. Now we'll find out C3 is impacting whom. So C3 is impacting C3, no use. C3 is impacting C5, there may be use, but we go to here and we find out that there is a already direct relationship between C1 to C5. So there is no need to change here. No need to change here. Now, what is the next one? We have checked C3. Now we'll go to, what is the one? Another one? Another one is C5. So we are going to C5 now. So C1 is directly impacting to C5 because it is 1. So where there is 1, we have to do it actually. So apart from the same, because C1 is to C1 is nothing, doesn't mean. So C1 to C3 we have already checked. Now again I'm telling you, C1 to C3, C3 is 1. Now we'll, sorry, C5 is 1. Now we'll go to C5. Now we'll check C5. Now C5 is this, we'll check this. C5 is impacting C3, right? But C3 is already there, direct, so no need. C5 is impacting again C5, no use. Now C5 is impacting whom?
C7.
Very good. So this C7 will become 1. It means there is a relationship. So you understand in this way. In this way, okay, I don't know. Okay. So C1 is impacting C5 and C5 is impacting C7. So it means there is indirect relation between C1 to C7. So this indirect relationship will be 1 star. Can you see 1 star here? Can you see 1 star here?
Yes.
This is the 1 star. So now C1 is, you understand that C1 is having a indirect relationship. So that indirect relationship is what? Indirect relationship is nothing but transitivity. Transitivity. We call it transitivity. So that is a simple funda. Now we'll go to another. I'll just give you another example so that every table, I mean, you can just, with this methodology and the, I'm sure that that recording will be shared with you. So you have to practice and just you need to understand. I'll give you another example. So we'll go there. So again, C1 is impacting this. We have already done this. We have already done this. Done. Now this is C6. C1 is impacting C6. No. C1 is impacting C7. No. So जहाँ पे no है, where there is no, you don't need to do anything. Now C8. So C1 is impacting C8. This we have got. Now this boy C8, this C8 factor we'll check here. Now C8 here, we'll go there. Now C8 is impacting C1. Okay, so impacting C1. So it means this C8 is impacting C1. And what we are looking at, C8 to 1, no, so this is already there. This is already there because here we can see 1. So C8 is impacting whom? C8 is impacting C3, is already there, is already there, is already there. Then C8 is impacting what? For C6. But there is no C6 impacting to hai, but there is no relation between C1 and C6. Here you can see Here you can see it this way. C1, you see, there is no relation because there is a 0. So we'll leave it. Now we'll go to C1 is again going to last. What is this? So C1 is having impact on this. So, so here it is, now how it is going there? It is 8 and this 8 is going to say 6 and 0. So why it is this? Okay, C7 is done and okay, C6, sorry. So C8 is impacted on C6. C8. So C1 is impacting C8 here and C8 here impacting on C6. So C6 will go to there and this will be 1 star. And you can see in this table, these two are 1 star. 1 star here, 1 star here. So these two answer we have got. So this is a transitive. So what we have got now? Transitive relationship. Like this, in this table, you can see a lot of transitive relationship. Okay. So reachable. So first table was initial reachable matrix. And with the help of this table, so this actually data you have got from the questionnaire and you have got the interpretation, which is again, you have to write somewhere, I'll tell you. And the second thing, you got the transitive relationship also. Now you have all one is, in fact, either direct or indirect, there is a relationship. Either direct or indirect, there is a relationship. That is the first thing we have got. This is reachable matrix. Now, what is this next one? Next one, we'll try to find out. Next one is getting the digraph. So how to get the digraph? I mean, the next is getting the digraph. Now, what is the process? I'll tell you. This is the, yeah. So now so development. So what you have done? We have completed this. We have completed this. Now we are going to level partitioning. What we are going to do? Level partitioning. And then after that, we'll go to diagram. So first table was initial, then transitive, and then level partitioning. So now I'm going to explain another important aspect of this. This is known as level partitioning. Please, partitioning, level partitioning. Please see it and watch it very carefully. So this is done, and we are going to level partitioning. So level partitioning, how to do it? We are going to the annexure where it is explained very beautifully. So this is known as level partitioning. So okay, so level partitioning what we have to do? We have to do a lot of iterations. So what is the first iteration? This is, you write it here, the table iteration 1 for level partitioning. So what you have to do? You have to see what we are doing it for diagram, because this is a kind of diagram, you know, this is, then this, this. So what is the relation? So sometimes you have this relation, then you have dotted line, you have direct line, then you have this relation, this dotted something. See, this is direct, this is interrelation. So this kind of, that is TISM model. But it should be technique. There should be a technique to create TISM model. So now I am going to explain you how to create this matrix, through some in this stage. So iteration 1. So what you have to do? Delay factor C1, C2, C3, C8, that you have to return. Now reachability set and antecedent sets you have to write. So for example, here C1, C3, C5, C6, C7, C8. Please mind it. These are all the factors which were in the reachability factor, reachability matrix with transitive relationship, all 1. 1 means, when I say 1 means either direct relation or indirect relation. So direct relation was 1 and indirect relation was 1 star. So these are all C1, C3. So C1 is always the C1. So that is, we have to include C3, C5, C6. So this is C3, C5, C6, C7. Somewhere we C3, C5, C6, C7, C8. So let us see. Let us see here. I mean, I don't know. So yeah. So this is initial transitivity. So see this 1 C1. So you can see it's C1. Then another was C3. And then it was C5. So C1, C3, C5, C6, C7, C8. So how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this you can check here. So this is actually, yeah, C1, C3, C5, C6, C7. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 6 only. 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the reach. So in the reachability set, you have to write this. And then antecedent sets, what is there in the vertical line. So this is horizontal line. This is horizontal line and this is vertical line. So vertical line C1, C2, we'll check there. C1, C2, something. Vertical line mein how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So check one relationship one. Yeah. Okay. So how much it is here? You can see in C1. Go vertical now. Got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So C1, C2, C4, C8. So in antecedent matrix, you will write C1, C2, then C4 and C8. C1, C2, C4, C8. Let us see in antecedent matrix what you have to write. Column of this. Got it? C1, C2, C4, C8. Are you there? Are you there with me?
Yes, yes.
So now reachable matrix is done and antecedent matrix, antecedent set is done. So these are all member of all these sets. So methodology, I have explained that methodology. Now, what is the intersection of these? What is the intersection? What is the intersection in this? You can see C1 and C8. So you write intersection. But if the intersection does not belong to one set, that does not belong to a singleton set, for example, then it will not be considered as a level. As a level, it will not be considered. So for example, this C1, C8 is belonging to two places, but there is, there is a place where only C1 and C8 should be there. Then it will be considered here. So here you can see in this one, you can do this also, this one. And finally, when you go for C1, sorry, C7. So for C7, reachability matrix, you can find out because you know this. What is the reachability?
So level, can you explain again?
So this level is actually, so we are actually preparing in the next stage, we are preparing the diagram of TISM model. So for diagram, we have to know what is the level of this factor. So which comes under first level, which comes under second level, which comes under third level and fourth level, something like that. So level one means it is the most important level. I mean, most, the important level impacted on that. So that will, so, and then how to get the level, that is important here, that you will see it here. So what is the way of getting the level? If in these two, you know how to prepare reachability matrix, you know how to prepare antecedent, but in those two, what is common? You have got all this also, but this common should belongs to one only. So for example, only at one level, not maybe, reachability set only. For example, here you can see, then it will come your first level. For example, here in C7. C7 is, again, for this C7, if you see reachability matrix, only one member must be there. Let us see. Only one member must be there, where one is there. So let us see why it is one. I have explained you with example, but you can do it. But anyway, I'm just doing it once again so that for C7, let us check for C7. C7, you see it. You see it. Is there any one? No one. Only this place. So C7 is only one is there. So you have what you have to write in reachability matrix? All the places, all the variables which are having one relationship or one star also be true. So here we write only this. Now if you talk about this one, vertical, when you go to vertical, so vertical is C1, C3. See this vertical is C1, C3, C4, then C5, then C6, then C7, and then here 0. So C1, C3, C4, C5, C6. So this will be antecedent set, and this will be the only reachability set. So let us see it. Okay, C7, just check C7. Here you can see here. C7 is this, and now these are C1, C3, C3. This is antecedent. What is common? This one. And this is the singleton set there. So this will become level 1. Now like this, here if you see, they have got two sets in that. C3, C5 here also, but in this is large number, but the only common is completing this one. So this will become our level 2. But in this case, when you do it, you will find that another set is also there. Here C3, C5, same thing. And in this, the common is C3, C5 again. In this situation, if the commonality is in such a way so that all the reachability set members are common in this, the commonality will be commonality is in this stage is such that so that all the members of reachability set are part of antecedent set, then leveling will start. So here, because in the same iteration 2 it happens, so it will be both of them are level 2. So like this, we do the third iteration so that every member should be. So what we do in the third iteration, we remove this C7. Second, so after this, completing this, C7 will be removed. Okay, I'm just give me a minute. I'm attaching the charger. Okay, fine. So then, after this iteration, we remove this one. The level is gone. Now we cannot allot this level to anyone. So now in this also for the second iteration, after second iteration done, we got the level 2 in two places. So C3 gone and C5 gone. Here C7 gone. C7 also gone. Now in the next citation, we write the remaining thing like this, and then here we are getting this one. So like this, the same methodology.
So is that why there is 2 in the label of iteration 2?
Can you just repeat your question?
Sir, can you please explain the iteration 2 again?
So iteration 2 means, no, you understood iteration 1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what happened? C7 is removed. C7 is removed now. After iteration 1, C7, I told you,
Yes,
no,
sir.
that removed. So now in the reachable matrix, here, C7 will be removed. Here also and here also. C7 will not be the part of this now. So this is also removed completely, and this C7 is also removed. So your reachability matrix is this one, accepting this. So for the second iteration, again, do the same thing. Again, for example, I'll just give you one example. Otherwise, then we'll stuck up there only. You understand the first methodology, you can go for this one. So for example, in the iteration 2, then again C1. Now, see this, only C in this, what is removed? Can you see it? This one. This one is removed. 7 is removed here. So C1, C3, C5, C6, and C8. Now this one. In the next citation, but it is coming from the figure, not here. Actually, you can go back and you check with the figure. And antecedents, again, the C1, C2, C4, the same. This will be the same. This will be the same. Right? So now again, you do for all, and then you get some commonalities. Commonalities should be like that, that all the members of reachability set should belong to antecedent set, so that these two will be taken common, and this will become level 2 here. Like this, when level 2 is done, then we will eliminate C1, C3 and C5. So we'll go back there. We'll go back there. Not do. It is not suggested to do it here. So C3 eliminated. So it means all the value everywhere it is eliminated, and then C5 also. So it is for level 2 it is done, because we got that. Now C3 is eliminated. Now C5 is eliminated, like this. Now remaining, again you start. So like this you do it, and then level 2, level 3, you have to repeat it, keep on repeating unless you got all the things, all the factors involved in that. For example, we got C7 here, we got C3, C5 here, and we are how many factors? 8 factors. So 3 factors already done. So then again we'll get here C6, and then again we'll get this one, these 2 factors. So all together we have to find 8. If 8 is done, then we'll stop. So here there will be 5 iteration. After that we got all the levels for all. Levels for all. Right. So this is yeah. So this is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. How many variables? We have 8 factors, no? Done ho gaya.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir, I have understood.
okay, now the important step to create the diagram. Now I will go back to the methodology purpose. I told you that I will. So this we have created. Now what we have created, you have to understand. So development of level partitioning we have done. Now what we have to do? What we have to do? This is development of diagram. That is the last stage. Okay, development of diagram. So this is, this is actually we have to do manually. Okay, I'll show you how to do it. We have to use your, that diagram, simple word. You can use Word and create the manually. So what is there? You can see here, what is the result? Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So if you can see here, what is the result? So, okay, so level 1. So level 1 means which factor? C7. Now level 2, which are the factors? C3 and C5. L4, sorry, level 3. I think level 3 is C6. Now level, sorry, level 4. So level 4 is C1 and C8. Then level 5. Level 5 is what? C1, C8 हो गया. C1, C8 and level 5. Level 5 is, what is level 5? C2, C4. So C2, C4. ये level 5 हो गया. So how many we have got? All now? We've got all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All. So like this, actually, now it is time to create a diagram. This is finally model. We are finally developing a model based on this leveling. Now, what is the model? It is very, very simple to create. Where is the model? Where is the model? Something. Is there any appendix or no? So I'll tell you how to create it. So this is a TISM diagram. So when we got digraph, this is the actually one step before this. This is the second stage of TISM. For first stage, we have to prepare. We can prepare it. I'll just tell you how to do it because it is not there. So I'll need to. So here only some digraph you have to prepare. So digraph means you have to so yeah, this kind of model. You remember I explained this. So you have to prepare this kind of model based on this. Okay. So this is based on this C10, all these things. So this model, how to create it, this is manually you have to do it. So I'll just tell you level 1, level 2, level 3, and then. Okay, fine. So, okay. So here, level 1. Level 1 means, what was level 1? You remember? If written somewhere now. Okay. So, yeah, level 1 is C7. You remember C7? So we'll somewhere, I'm just using it another color actually, possible. Same page. Okay, so I'm just telling you, just giving you an idea. Level 1 is C7. Then level 2 is C3, and they are at same level. Second level, na? So 5. Then you write it here.
C6.
Yeah, so C6. Then you go to 4 level. This is
C1, C8.
C8. And
then C2, C4.
C2, C4. Okay, so this is, and then you create this kind of thing. Node, this is what you call node. Create a node. Sorry, ye thoda sa, I think diagram is or clarity. Okay, anyway. So this is a kind of thing. Now, this is level diagram, and then we try to notice what is the relation between C2 and C4? Can you find out? C2, C4. It is directly impacting, go to reachability matrix. Reachability matrix. So we have to create this reachability matrix. Somewhere you can find here also. Yeah, so you can use this. I think final reachability matrix, they have done some changes. No changes at all, I think. What is the relation? That is C1 and C4, no? Last one?
Last one is C2, C4.
Okay, so C2, C4. Let us find out. C2 is impacting C4? 1, yes. And what is C4 is impacting C1? Yes.
Yes,
so
direct.
It means directly. So this will be something C1.
C2 and C4 direct relationship.
But it is interrelation. I mean, C2 is also impacting C4 and C4 is also impacting C3. This will be there. So this is first one. Okay. Now what is the second level? This is so this is down.
Yes, C5, then C4 is C1,
Correct.
C8.
Correct. So like this we have to create. So here we have, to create the because we are creating the diagram. Diagram is the first stage of TISM diagram. So sometimes some people don't do it actually. Since I am explaining you, I am doing it actually for you. So this is because sometimes they directly create the diagram. Now C4 and C8, we see the relationship. C4 and C8, if I remember, there is a direct relationship. C4 is impacting C8. So it means C2 is indirectly relation to C8. C2 is indirectly relation to C8 because this C4 is impacting C8. So we'll check it also. We'll check it also because C4 is C8, we can check it. So like this, we create the digraph. This digraph, and after that we create this diagram. Diagram is already there, I think. So on the basis of this we are getting the relationship there only. I think transitive. Okay, let us check from here. Okay, so C4 and C8 now. C4 is impacting C8. No, I don't know what was.
No. C4, we were checking like level 4, C1, C8.
And C6. Huh?
Yes.
So C4 is impacting C6. Okay, right. But what was the another one? I used to forget.
Which level I have written on, I can answer. What are you looking for?
Okay, so we are talking about C2 is impact, C4 is impacting C8.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Yes or no? C4 is
Yes.
impacting. Okay, so it means C2 is indirectly impacting C8.
Transitivity.
Transit. So this is transitive relation and this is direct relation. Now for each relation, what is the interpretation? What is the interpretation? That is given in the questionnaire. That is responded already. Now, again, you have to, sometimes somewhere it is a transitive relationship. So the interpretation or the reason of the transitive relation is not known till now. But we know that there is a transitive relationship. So for transitive relationship, you know it because C2 is impacting C4 and C4 is impacting C8 and there is a transitive relation. If you can get something through the literature or you can ask some expert again that sir, madam or sir, we have got a transitive relation between C4, C2 and C8. What may be the possible reason? Again, based on the expert opinion, you can write, or if you can get some reason here, what is the relation, what is the reason, or you can just write down transitive also. So because they want what is transitive relation,
Okay.
transitive. So like this, you can, if you can explain here, that will the robust model will create. And now you can see the model. Now I'm coming to the model. Yeah. So this is the model. You can see it. See, so C2, you can see it here. C2, can you see C2? Can you see C4? Can you see? This is a kind of representation. Don't worry. This is a kind of representation. You read many paper, different type of representation is there. What is they have mentioned the reason for that. Why is this impacting this? And there is a dotted line, right? So
Yes.
dotted line of this dotted line. So what is the reason for that possibly? Then there is again what line, dotted line. So it may be the relation will come side like this because since this is impacting this and this is impacting this, some kind of interrelation may be possible in between. And what is the reason? This is the reason. So like this, I'll share this paper with you. So this kind of, first you create the diagram, that is level diagram, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and then you from the questionnaire itself you calculate all these things because you have already know all these things. It is in the questionnaire. It was in the questionnaire. I shown you some other paper in which questionnaire was there, in which I show you what is the interpretation for that. So these all interpretation you have to write and you create a beautiful diagram. This is the TISM diagram, TISM modeling diagram.
Sir, one thing, I have seen couple of papers where the diagram looks very clumsy, very cluttered.
So
So I don't know, like, is it because of more variables they have opted, or
that is the problem. That is the problem actually. So and then again, this is here. It requires sometimes A4, A3 size things, and you have to diminish all these things because in a research paper, actually you have to diminish all these things. Sometimes they do very small things because they create in the 2 columns in a particular page. So you will get this kind of very small, sometimes clumsy, sometimes. But the thing is this only. I'll show you. This is the
oh,
there only.
sir, I have a
I'll show you.
question. So how many variables should be optimal? Like how many variables we should take in a study, in a particular study?
Generally the published paper which is being published in A or B or something Scopus and all, generally 8 to 10. 8 to 10. 7 also sometimes possible.
Okay,
But
and one more thing, sir. So, in one paper, can we explain both the enablers and inhibitors, barriers or enablers, or we should do it separately in different papers? Like in one paper, if we are going to talk about enablers of the something AI, then in another paper we can talk about, or we can do in a one paper also, both the thing.
If we are doing both, it will be a very new phenomena. I mean, new things in a field of research. Generally, people are. Have you met any paper or have you got any paper such that so that though both the things they worked? I think
No,
people.
not yet, not yet.
So you can initiate them because generally they don't do it actually because the same
Mhm.
but because see this is the methodology I am discussing, but before that lot of theoretical background development is required. So if you are working on back barriers or something, then you have to work a lot. It is not that easy that within 1 hour or 2 hour I'm explaining it. So many things are in the backdrop. If you read the research papers related to that, I'll share 2 papers with Amanji. Amanji will share, and the slides also I'll share. And so this is the basically methodology for TISM modeling. I'll show one paper and then immediately go to the another part of that. If I then another part is very easy. That is MICMAC analysis. Generally, people are doing this TISM following by MICMAC analysis. MICMAC analysis also give a clear-cut idea about the variables. So little more postmortem, you can say. It's a more kind of postmortem about the variables, how variables are, scattered. If you create a kind of diagram and, how they are supporting, how much they are less supporting also, that is to the particular phenomena. So, but before that, one paper, because this paper is again done by my professor, that is Professor Srivastava from IIT Delhi. So that paper is, we used to do it. A lot of paper coming from these places. So, okay, first time. Okay, so TISM Sushi is the paper. Now this is a diagram, and so I don't know. Yeah. So you this I don't know whether you're able to see it or not. For example, C1 is impacting C2. So what is the reason for that?
Open new markets.
Open new. So see, you understand, open new market. So that kind of thing you have got from literature itself. So there is no issue. I mean, so this is the next level actually. This is we call it interpretative matrix. That is also we need to prepare. Or sometimes some people will do in the diagram itself. This is the level diagram I wanted to tell you, no, that I created actually. No, this also separately you can do. Level this, level this, level this, you can do it. This is another thing. And then, okay, so this is typically in each matrices you just write down. For example, here it is a transitive relationship. C1 to C2, there is a transitive relationship here. So what is the reason for that?
That this interpretation is backed by the literature or by the experts?
That is the good questions. I think somebody else also asked this question. I told you sometimes, many of the times, because it is based on the interview with the expert people, then it is you get the backing from there. Sometimes you can in somewhere, I don't know here it is there or not. In somewhere some literature support is also there. You can use some literature support also. If some literature says that yes, it is having the perfect impact on this, so you can use this literature support by mentioning the author's name and something like that. In some paper I did it actually. I don't remember, I think whether they have done here or not, I don't know.
And
But
if there is inconsistency about it, like some studies saying no, it's not, and the other study is saying that yes, it has an impact, then what we should do? We should mention
then
both
I
the papers,
think,
or
then you have to believe because you are developing the new kind of things which is based on this. So then you better you avoid in that case. Because there, we want to understand from the expert point of view. It is a qualitative research, no? See, sometimes quantitatively, if you prove it, that is different. But we are not using any quantitative here because
okay,
so
got it.
if you compare sometimes in quantitative research, research is very subjective. I mean, see how you get the respondents. If you're not getting the proper respondents, all the results are bogus. And if you're not getting the proper experts in qualitative research, that is also biased, not correctly information. That is also, so as a researcher, you have to avoid all kind of biasness. Anyway, so this is the things. See, these reasons you can just write. I'll share both the papers. So you just go through. Is there any case you can just make a query through something? I'll tell Amanji to give my email ID also. No issue. Okay. So this is then, and now the next is MICMAC analysis. So that also, MICMAC analysis is this. MICMAC, as I told you, that it gives you this a kind of more postmortem. So for example, here we are talking about delay factor, isn't it? So there are two things happen in MICMAC analysis. One is dependence power. Are you there with me? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
what we do, we create a graph of MICMAC analysis. So graph of MICMAC analysis is very simple. We use Excel and we create scatter diagram. Okay. So scatter diagram, we use it Excel. So this is the basic tool, we use it here. And now graph of, so MICMAC analysis, again, I told you that it will, give a clear cut idea between dependence power or driving power. So some power which are driving towards the phenomena, and some are dependence. So we can just, because this will, a kind of creation of the x-axis, y-axis, and then there are 4 quadrants. It is not x-axis, y-axis. You consider it as a quadrant, something like that. So, and you divide the quadrant into exactly middle. So if you divide into middle, then you will find out these kind of figure. So one figure is here, this C1, C2. How it comes, I'll tell you, don't worry. So this is C4, how it will. So this is, it depends on you. For example, it depends on the researcher actually, how you create our diagram. For example, this, and here we call it this way. So this way you are talking about depending factor power. If you are more depending, it means dependent delay factors. So these are the dependent delay factors. C4 is dependent on any other factors which are here also, and it is going down. It means less driving force. Then it is in this quadrant. You have to define quadrant. You have to define quadrant according to your barrier. But these two will be permanent: driving forces, driving powers, and dependence power. What is all these things? I'll just explain you within. But how to do it actually, I'll explain you. So driving delay factors, this in this quadrant, and this linkage delay, because it is again linkage delay means it is again dependent power and dependent to. So that as a researcher, you have to find out which you can come with this diagram, but how to explain the diagram again is a challenge actually. So you have to read all this MICMAC TISM analysis and discuss the finding. So all these things, you have to read it and you just find out how they have done. But the process, I will tell you how to do it. Just give me a couple of minutes. I will just. So. Okay, so fine. So you have reachability matrix finally. Reachability matrix is there somewhere. It is there. Yeah. So this is the reachable matrix. You just calculate here, and here. Just add all the ones. So all the ones. So it means. So 1, 2, 3 something. So here, what is the answer? If you add all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6. Now it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5. Now it is how much? 1, 2, 3. Only 3. So like this, you will get some data. And here you added 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 4. It is 1 and 2. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6. So like this, you just fill all this in. This is known as driving force. You just come to this one. Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Driving force, and this is dependent driving power and dependent power. Okay. So if you keep, I'm telling you in a simple way, if you keep, you just copy it and paste on the Excel sheet. Can you see my Excel sheet?
Yes.
Okay. So if you can see my Excel sheet, then you can easily understand that simply you just put it here and you go to, you select it actually, you select it and then you go to insert. You go to insert. So insert. Now insert, you go to scatter diagram. Everybody, I mean, you can just, if you don't know, you can easily get some video on how to create a scatter diagram. So you just go to somewhere it is there, I think. Yeah, it is there, I think scattered. So you just open it and you go this. Now create it. And then you just change all this. I think I have not, put in it that way properly. You can keep it there. Then I think this way and easily you can create this table and then you have to divide it in between. So for example, here it is how much? Here it is 8, exactly 8, 0 to 8 column. So you can just draw a line of 4 numbers. So something I think, so you just draw 4 or maybe 1, 2, 3, 9. No, so here only. So I'm drawing here 4. So 4 means 8 means exactly in between you have to draw a line, that is you create a quadrant in between. So I'm not able to draw here because somewhere you can just, so like this you get the table. That you have to do it manually. Insert line, is there somewhere? Some line is if you can get some arrows, then I can draw the line and then you'll show you this kind of thing. So this is what C1. So this is, if you write 4, 4, 6, what is the point actually here? You can add it. What is this C? This is 4, 6. 4, 6 is what? It is 4, 6.
Sum total of the column.
So that is 4 and 6. So 4 and 6, something like that. So 4, 6. Then somewhere it is 4, 5 also. What? 4, 5, this. So what is 4, 5, 4, 6? This C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C7, C8. Something like that. You have to see whatever they have prepared here and this one. So this is diagram. So in between they have created all these things. So now this is up to you. Where you are taking this, where you are taking this, that is your, as a researcher, because it is your baby, quadrant you have divided because that is your, to divide in between exactly what is the graph is there. Exactly you can divide 2 lines and you can get 4 quadrants and what are the, you can see all the, create all these headings because delay factors is related to your factor, factors related to that. So you can find out all these things. You can just write out headings and all this pattern. This is known as MICMAC analysis. I'll share the papers also and some slides also, whatever I've shown, uh, immediately after this, finishing this. I think I am done with the methodology portion. You have to read these 2, 3 papers and try to do it. But questionnaire remember, preparation of the questionnaire is also, first you have to define the variables, then define the relationship, and then prepare a questionnaire, explain everything in the, factors should be explained very well because they will, and the questionnaire also you have to write down that C1 is C2. No, what is C1? Suppose, for example, it is globalization. So you write that globalization have positive or impact or influence on organizational change. So that proper statement you have to write. So yes or no. If they are saying yes, it means they are telling 1, or if it is 1, they have to give the explanation also. So
Sir, also coming to the variables, sometimes the variables that we select for the study looks very generic. So is there going to be a problem with that?
So we can see some,
Like the globalization, it is pretty common as compared to.
no, I mean, it's common, but organizational change for organizational change.
Yeah.
Why do we change? Why do we get changes in the organization? So globalization is one factor we are considering. No matter. It doesn't matter whether it is common or not. No, it doesn't matter. But it should be supported from the literature. See, you understand. I mean,
Yes, yes,
nothing,
sir. Yes, of course. Got it.
I mean, if it is common also, but somebody should have written all this on that.
Yeah,
So,
it's written. That's why I asked, like, there is no
so then it
novelty
is
then.
okay. If it is written, though, no issue. So I think I want to close here. Is there anything else somebody I want to ask? Otherwise, I'm closing here. Everything will be shared with you.
Also, sir, like, is it important to learn ISM before learning TISM?
I
What do
think
you suggest?
there is no need because we are not using it nowadays. Only to strengthen your theoretical development, you can just read some something because some theoretical background you will write. See, introduction, after introduction, or in the introduction or literature, you'll write some theoretical background. In this, some paragraph or one of paragraph, you can just read, you can just write about ISM and all, because no need to, go to deeper of ISM, because TISM is the new one on which paper is being published also nowadays, and it is easy to get all these things because ISM manually, it's little tough also. Why? Because it has 4 options. Here it is only yes or no in the
Yeah.
option initially. They are having 4 options, and then again, if you use smart ISM, you can see all the 4 options. You never know that where you can get the good data or not. So it has less opportunity to talk with the people also. So always it's better that you go for TS. And nowadays, this is the new, it is an advanced version of ISM. So why to go to old version?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm stopping here. Yeah.
So I have one question.
Yes, Pawanji. Yeah, tell me.
So actually, I'm working on homestay tourism. Okay, then I just knew about this methodology.
What?
And if I want to apply in my homestay tourism, if I want to apply this model, this methodology in my homestay tourism, so say if I want to analyze the success of homestay tourism, for example, many of methodology have used SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Right, sir? Then can I take opportunities? Can I take if barriers like barriers as weaknesses which are being portrayed in that literature? Can I take that weaknesses because not because I haven't seen this type of literature or this type of study done in my my domain.
In my opinion, you can do it, but the thing is, for why you are doing it actually. So if you are writing a paper, and if you are only doing on strength, only doing an opportunity, or you're doing a strength opportunity, something like that, what do you want to come with the paper? What is the, I mean, what do you want to convey with the paper? That is also important. Every paper must have some kind of communication. What exactly you want to tell? You can do the analysis, that's okay. But what exactly you want to tell? That is also important because paper publication is, they want your contribution, not only your contribution analysis or not, what you want to communicate to the body of knowledge or to the academic world. That is also important. So if you are doing it just for the sake of doing, it's not, but you can do it actually. You can do it, that you can do it, but you find in such a way, because we are dividing to 2 ways. One is enablers of certain phenomena, another is barriers to certain phenomena. So all things, I mean, it means if there are barriers, so there all factors are actually barriers to certain phenomena. So there must be some kind of interrelationship between these two. If you are taking together all these things, so maybe there are no interrelation, then there is no use of applying TSM. Hope I have answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Or I'll share all these things. 3 things I'll share you. 2 papers and 1 set of slides also. And
Sir?
I would like to tell Amanji also to share my email ID. Somebody can approach to me through my email, they can approach. No issue. Okay.
Sure,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, you explained very beautifully everything, but I'm just confused at about the criteria of level partitioning. So tell me if I'm wrong about this. When all of the members of reachability set are present in antecedent set, then only we assign it as level 1, right?
Right. You can see in the paper also. I mean, now I
Okay,
have,
okay.
yeah, you are right. Reachability
Thank
set,
you, sir.
all the members of reachability set should belong to this. Then these two members of reachability set will be part of the level.
Good, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, Amanji, what next then? I'll say thank
Dear
you.
participants, if you have any query, you may ask.